The story begins in the year 2048. This is a time when humans have almost completely exhausted all the resources of Earth. The few resources that remain are being fought over by different countries. We are then shown a family consisting of Rick, his wife Abigail, and their son. This entire family is given a luxurious mansion. When they arrive, they are very happy. They learn that there are 13 other luxurious houses there, where 13 other families have also been brought. All of them are going to be part of research and experiments, and a whole team of scientists is present there for this purpose. The next morning, Professor Martin appears and explains to everyone that within the next 10 years, every type of resource on Earth will be completely finished. After that, Earth will no longer be suitable for human life. Because of this, humanity has only one option, and that option is Titan, which is a moon of the planet Saturn. However, living on Titan is currently impossible for humans because it rains methane there. The atmosphere contains a very high amount of nitrogen. The temperature there is extremely low. If humans want to live there, then changes must be made in the human body and in human DNA. For this purpose, some families have been selected from 500 families, and they are brought here. Rick is also among them. Rick says that they joined this experiment willingly. The next morning, Rick is taken by a doctor and given an injection. He is told that over the next week he will receive many injections like this, which will cause major changes in his body. His body will begin to consume nitrogen instead of oxygen. Later, when Rick's house hosts a party, his wife drinks a lot of alcohol. Rick takes her to Dr. Abigail. At that moment, Rick suddenly becomes very sick. When his wife checks him, she finds that he has a very high fever. After a few days, the families participating in the experiment are taken to the next level of testing. They are placed underwater to see who can stay without breathing for the longest time. One by one, everyone comes out of the water, but Rick and a girl remain underwater for 40 minutes. After 40 minutes, the girl begins to suffocate and comes out of the water, but Rick remains there. Slowly, his heart rate starts decreasing, which worries his wife, who is monitoring his heart rate outside. Before anyone can pull him out, Rick comes out of the water by himself. Everyone applauds him because he survived 42 minutes and a few seconds underwater. That night, Rick is in the swimming pool with his wife Abigail. She notices something swollen on his back, but Rick assumes it is due to the experiment and medication. After a few more days, Rick undergoes another surgery. That same night, he is not found in his bed. When Abigail goes to look for him, she finds him in the kitchen applying ice to his body because he feels extremely hot. Abigail brings him more ice. Rick tells her that he cannot feel the cold at all. This means the scientists are successfully preparing the participants for Titan, because Titan is extremely cold and requires bodies that do not feel cold. However, the biggest challenge on Titan is still methane and nitrogen. The participants are now made to swim underwater with methane gas, and they are also given special masks that release high levels of nitrogen. Wearing those masks, they must run. They are now being fully prepared to live on Titan, because soon they will be sent there. A few more days pass. One day, while they are in the bathroom area, Rick notices that his hair is falling out. Another participant is experiencing the same thing. They realize the medication and treatment are causing these effects. Suddenly, one of the women participating in the experiment falls ill and dies. Everyone becomes frightened because the same treatment given to her was also given to them. This means their lives are also in danger. That night, all the experimental subjects and their families gather at Rick's house and begin discussing the situation. During the meeting, Dean, one of the participants, suddenly becomes very aggressive and even attacks his wife. Ever since the experiment began, his anger has been increasing. Everyone becomes terrified. They somehow calm Dean down. The next morning, a doctor visits Rick's house. She tells Rick and Abigail that the woman who died actually had kidney stones, and that was the cause of her death. She says it had nothing to do with the experiment. However, Rick feels that something is wrong. That same night, Rick vomits blood. His wife Abigail collects a sample of the vomit. While doing so, she realizes someone is watching them from behind the door, meaning they are being monitored. Later, while Rick is in the swimming pool, his skin begins to peel off, which makes him even more frightened. Abigail takes the blood sample to the laboratory. After testing it, she discovers that Rick's blood and entire system contain many new compounds that were never mentioned before the experiment. This means important information was hidden from them. Abigail tries to talk to Professor Martin, the head of the project, but he refuses to meet her. Meanwhile, Rick undergoes eye surgery, allowing him to see in the dark. After the surgery, blood starts coming from his eyes, so he is taken to the hospital again. There, Abigail finally meets Professor Martin. She accuses him and demands answers, but he leaves without responding. When Abigail returns home, she sees military personnel outside their neighbor Dean's house. Dean has killed his wife, and his appearance has changed drastically. The military arrests him and takes him away. Now Abigail is completely certain that many things are being hidden from them. She steals Rick's access card and enters the facility where all the files are kept. There she finds the file of the woman who died. The report clearly states that her death was not caused by kidney stones, but by the experiment itself. Abigail also sees Professor Martin having a meeting with NASA officials. In that meeting, NASA accuses him of conducting illegal biological tests on humans and orders that the experiment must be stopped immediately. He will also face punishment. The next day, Professor Martin visits Rick and Abigail at their house. He explains that he started these experiments so humans could live on Titan, but even he does not know what the final outcome will be. Every human has different DNA, so the experiment affects each person differently. He says that one person's body is responding very positively, and that person is Rick. He explains that after the experiment is complete, Rick and the others will evolve into another type of creature called Homo Titan. However, no one knows how far each person's body will evolve because everyone's DNA is different. After learning the truth, Abigail becomes extremely distressed. Rick cannot leave the project anymore. He undergoes another eye surgery, after which he can sense his surroundings even in complete darkness. All the remaining participants undergo one final surgery. After this surgery, all of them die, except Rick and another woman named Tally. Rick's wife and son come to see him. They are shocked because Rick's appearance has completely changed. He has no ears and no hair on his head. He can still recognize them and hear them, but he cannot speak because his body now produces low-frequency sounds that humans cannot hear. Rick is later sent back home. One night, Tally arrives there with blood on her hands, which makes it clear that she has killed her husband because she has become extremely aggressive. When the military learns about this, they come to capture Rick and Tally. Both of them attack the soldiers while trying to defend themselves. The military eventually kills Tally, but Rick uses his new powers to kill many soldiers and escape. Abigail follows him and soon reaches him. Rick still loves his wife deeply. When he touches her, he reads her mind, which is one of his new abilities. At that moment, a military helicopter arrives. At his wife's request, Rick surrenders himself to the military. He is taken back to the laboratory. Professor Martin tells Abigail that she must inject Rick with a special drug that will erase his memories of his family. He says this is best for Rick because they are preparing to send him to Titan. Abigail believes this might be the right decision. She approaches Rick with the injection. Rick asks her not to do it because he has already read her mind, but she ignores him and injects the drug. She then leaves the facility with her son and another doctor. After they leave, soldiers approach Rick, but Rick attacks them, kills several of them, and returns home. It turns out Abigail did not inject the memory-erasing drug. She did this deliberately so Rick could come back home instead of being sent away. Rick is very happy to reunite with his wife and son. He is not dangerous to them because he still loves them deeply. Soon many soldiers surround the house. Professor Martin arrives and explains that Rick can never become human again. His entire biology has changed, and he cannot survive on Earth anymore. If he wants to live, he must go to Titan. Abigail understands this and tells Rick that perhaps it is time for him to go. Rick is then sent to Titan. A few weeks later, Professor Martin is arrested because all his experiments were illegal. The laboratory is now managed by Dr. Shreya and Abigail, who plan to continue research and find better and safer ways to send humans to Titan. One night, Abigail's son takes her outside and points to the sky, telling her how clear the sky looks tonight. Far away in space, we see Titan, where Rick is standing alone. Suddenly, he starts flying above a methane lake, showing that he has fully adapted to this new world and environment. And with this, the story and the film come to an end.